Good evening. Once again, we return to the story of Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, most loyal servant of the Emperor, former head of the Blades in Vardenfell, finest career in Tamriel, Hortator of the Great Houses, Nerevarine. And we are about to see what happened in Anvil, but apparently I walked by a bunch of people not even noticing.
Inaris and Ventius, hunter, woodsman, and marksman at your service.
Tell me more about Anvil.
We're all wondering when more of those evil gates are going to open. I'd leave town if I dared.
You're in ebony armor. What's going to happen to you? Alright, can you tell me about any Daedra shrines in the area?
I saw a big statue of Malakath, west of Fort Such, west of the Gold Road to Hammerfell. Looked like Daedra worshippers to me.
It's very interesting. Alright. Any rumors?
Hey, you're the one they call the hero of Kvatch, aren't you? The one that closed the Oblivion gate and saved the city.
I heard there's some attacks in the Temple of Dibella.
It's unbelievable. Right in the center of the city. Nobody saw anything. Makes you wonder about the competence of the guard, if you ask me.
And this prophet I've been hearing about.
Sure. Go down to the chapel and you can't miss it. He'll be the one outside, ranting at passers-by. Knowledge is power.
Thank you for your time. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on with this shrine to Malakath. I think I'm going to investigate that before I before I go into Anvil.
If you see my good-for-nothing husband, Yalfi, tell him I want back what he stole from me.
Tell me more.
Perhaps you can help me. My husband's name is Yalfi the Contemptible. My father said I was a fool to marry him, but I didn't listen. At our wedding, my father gave us a family heirloom as a gift. Rock Shatter, a mace that's been in my family for many generations. Yalfi snatched Rock Shatter from our mantle and took off to find his fortune with the local marauder gang at Fort Strand. I want that mace back. Please, I don't think he's ever coming back, and I'd hate to lose such a precious heirloom to a gang of thugs.
I was gonna say the husband seems to be optional here. Alright. What about any rumors?
If you're on a road, you can usually outrun anything. If you're in good shape and not wearing a tin suit. Please bring back Rock Shatter. It means a great deal to me.
Pleasure to speak with you.
Have you heard about this gang?
An all-female gang of thieves has been recently plaguing Anvil with a very unique method of robbing. They pick on only the men. If you want to help us do something about it, go talk to Gogan in Melona. Let's just say Gogan is intimately involved and leave it at that.
And, who's Felwyn Benarius?
That layabout? Well, you can find him wasting time at the Count's Arms.
Still heading to the Malakath's shrine first. I don't think I picked up arrowroot before. Might be useful. Well, Alf.
You know,
I don't even have that.
If you see my good... Please bring back Raksha. It means a great
you know.
And apparently we lost the gang. Ah.
I'm Hassathil. What do you want?
Enelroth. I don't know where he came from. Just appeared outside the chapel a day or so after the attacks. Been there ever since. Farewell.
Well, hopefully we're able to get that other quest again. I think I'd be a little less annoyed by the crashes if I wasn't using a very widely used list of mods. I understand if I was doing something weird, but
You dare come here to the shrine of our Lord? You are not one of us.
well, what's the scuttlebutt around the shrine anyway?
Folks think we're all evil? What do they know? Do I look evil?
Very much so. Tell me more about the shrine.
You're not one of Malakoth's favorite people. He likes orcs. Too bad for you. So you approach his shrine at your own risk.
Yeah, I'm willing to approach a shrine.
Then go on and do your approaching.
But Malakath wants a present. He likes troll fat. And he likes only troll fat. We watch and wait.
Do you wish to offer troll fat to the altar of Malakath?
You brought a present. That's smart. You want something? And if you're smart, you do what I tell you. Lord Drad took my ogres. Says he owns them. Lying maggot! They're my ogres! Lord Drad put my little brothers in chains, working in the mines. I don't like that. Get over to Lord Drad's estate. Let my ogres loose and get them out. Okay. Get going.
When I left the offering, Malakath was summoned and spoke to me. He tasked me with traveling to the estate of Lord Drad and freeing his ogre slaves.
So I know I didn't do the one for Clavicus' file, but this one seems a little easier to do. We will do the one for Clavicus' file. I just need to sort out my priorities.
It's time for you to leave, my friend.
Should probably come back at night. Try one more time.
I welcome you to my humble home, stranger. What brings you to this place?
Tell me about yourself.
I am Lord Drad. Go ahead.
What's this estate?
The land is good, the farm productive, but it's mining the wealth from beneath the land that will make my fortune.
Oh, do you have ogres to do that for you?
Can you think of a better use for the mindless beasts? Under my eye, they do some good in this world.
Well, no creature should be a slave.
I don't believe I asked for your opinion on this matter. I am done speaking with you. Please leave my estate.
Spoken with Lord Drad. He believes the ogres to be suitable slaves, and as it does not violate imperial law. I fear I've angered him, though, and he will no longer speak with me. Perhaps his wife will be more forthcoming.
I'm afraid you've upset my husband. Please, leave before he loses his temper. I beg you.
Tell me about your angry husband.
He is my husband, a kind and gentle man. He has given me everything I might ever desire.
And the estate?
Drod purchased the land and title from council. It cost him a fortune, and he's determined to make it pay.
Through slavery.
I can't tell you about that. Please, just go.
Any rumors?
Nibonay is bordered on north and east by rugged mountains, and to the south by marshes and rainforest.
I feel like there's something you're not telling me about the slaves.
I can't tell you about that. Please, just go. All right. Take... Hello?
Spriggans, nature's guardians, my... foot. Mean thing.
I'm afraid you've up... Certainly. He works them in bleak mine. It's terrible. The guards beat the creatures mercilessly. That's all I can tell you. Now please go.
Lady Drad has told me that the ogres are located in Bleak Mine, not far from here. I will have to go to free them to appease Malakath.
Take care.
Might grab some loot from there if I get a chance.
Yes! Oh, great and mighty Grand Champion! Is there something you need? Can I carry your weapon? Shine your boots? Back rub, perhaps?
Wait here. Yes, right here.
Here? Right here? What about, say, over there? No? Right here? All right, then. You're the Grand Champion. Whatever you say.
I've entered Bleak Mine, now I must free Malakath's ogres.
Look out! Hey, show me what you got! Back off! I hope you know what you're doing! You're living on borrowed time, thief! By the gods! How could you do such a thing? Thieves break in, but they don't break out. They break all over when I'm finished with them. No repeat offenders. That's my motto. You're living on borrowed time, thief. No repeat offenders. That's my motto.
They're a lot more lenient with me than they were on the adoring fan, I'll give them that. Oh man.
I freed one group of ogres. I must check to see if there are any more to be freed.
Ha! You'll never take me down! Wah! Whoa! Wah!
I have freed all the ogres in Bleak Mine. I should return to the Shrine of Malakath.
This is gonna get a bit crowded.
Hi!
I don't know if I'm just very charismatic, or if those guards are just really bad.
Good job. No one owns ogres but me! And I fixed that maggot. The ogre's own drag. Make a drag eat death. Now you get a present. Keep up the good work. And be nice to my little brothers.
Malakath was satisfied with my efforts to free the ogres. He has rewarded me with Volendrung.
No surprises there. Ooh. That's a heavy one. Maybe I should just accept that it's gone. just gonna have to accept I lost it. One more pass. Because the delay will also mean that I'll get to maybe stop by Lord Trad's estate, pick up some replacement items to sell. Obviously gotta wait for the light to go out. There we go. Close to the limit. I think that's silver debt. Sorry for the noise, by the way. I mean, if nothing else, I should probably just make some potions with these. Oh, but it won't tell me which ones are stolen. garlic doesn't have any weight, so... I'm not thinking. Ah! So even things like the goblets aren't worth as much as that silver dagger. There we go. So at this point, I'm pretty much forced to go back to Anvil. Now, one of the drawbacks of all the stuff that I need to fence is that the character that I'm going to sell that to is actually pretty far away. But I'll try and lighten the load as much as I can. And I suppose in the worst case, I can always just drop things off back in Bruma. So we'll start with a, hey, what are you doing
Hello.
up?
Well met.
What have you heard about Anvil?
Don't know if this is true, but I heard a gang of all-female thieves is preying on the married menfolk of the town.
Tell me more.
An all-female gang of thieves has been recently plaguing Anvil with a very unique method of robbing. They pick on only the men. If you want to help us do something about it, go talk to Gogan and Malona. Let's just say Gogan is intimately involved and leave it at that. Go to it.
I'm Rufrius Venetius, Fighters Guild hand-to-hand trainer.
Anything I should know about?
I guess I could have been an adventurer, but I like sleeping in a bed.
What are you in the Fighters Guild for, then?
Rana. I'm Anvil's advanced trainer in blade weapons.
What have you heard of the attack?
The prophet speaks true. This is the start of something terrible. I can feel it in my bones.
All right. Tell me more about the prophet, then.
You should listen to him preach. He may sound crazy at first, but the longer you listen, the more sense he makes.
And what else should I know about an anvil?
I swear that when I passed by Benerus Manor last night, I heard someone scream from inside. Velwyn Benerus will never sell that death trap.
Sounds like my kind of death trap, actually.
There's much I can show you.
Apparently there isn't.
Go hurt something.
Oh, everyone calls me Sten the Ugly. I got tired of beating people up for it. So go ahead, live it up.
What have you heard about the chapel attack?
I'd like to get my hands on the cowards that did that. I'm even thinking of joining the Prophet's Holy Crusade.
All right, tell me more about the prophet, then.
Sure, the guy down by the chapel. He's the one calling for some holy knight to return. Maybe we could use a few more holy knights these days.
Anything else?
Quillweave does a lot of traveling to research her books. She must have a lot of experience to share. Take care.
Herwin of the Fighters Guild, health and fortune.
I'm just really looking for a job. What can you tell me about Anvil?
Didn't you see that Oblivion gate just outside the walls? Mara, preserve us from the fate of Kvatch.
I didn't actually see any Oblivion Gate, but fair enough. What else do you know about?
Don't know if this is true, but I heard a gang of all-female thieves is preying on the married menfolk of the town.
What do you train?
Knowledge is power. Good day.
I would if I had the space for it.
Hi!
What's new with you?
I heard people saying they
pleasure is all mine.
around here not long ago. I can't stand those things.
Terrible creatures. They travel in packs.
How does the day greet you, friend?
I'm just looking for a place to sleep. Ah, here we are. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is find a place to sell some of my surplus. I didn't actually really learn anything about the layout.
Yes?
Please, go on.
Let's have a chat, and then we'll make a deal.
That's cute. You think I'm afraid of you? That never... Good one. Really now. You're such a charmer. Really. Good one. I doubt it. Blow away, windbag. Yeah, I get it. Blow. Goodness. I doubt it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Really now. You're such a charmer.
Oh, I screwed up.
I doubt it. Not bad. Yeah, right. Please, I'm embarrassed, but thank you. What? I doubt. Good one. Please, I'm embarrassed. What? That never happened. Sure, that's cute. No, I see. Only quality goods for sale. I can't. A fine transaction. You've made a good bit of gold. Tell your friends about me.
Alright, so that's probably not going to free up a ton of space, but it gives me a little bit of wiggle room.
Farewell. Varel Morvain. Been making weapons and armor. Armor, weapons. I have it all. How may I help you?
Ah, now this is interesting. Yeah, but after I work out
Goodbye.
the premium, it's not quite enough.
Hi.
How goes it?
I'm Wilbur, owner and proprietor of the Count's Arms. We make beds and food available to guests. Can I help you?
Yeah, you can start by changing the name. I thought you were a weapons store.
Be seeing.
It also occurs to me I should have stopped by the Mages Guild just to find out what the quest is.
Hi there.
Hello, associate. To earn a recommendation from me, you need simply prove you are able-bodied and prepared to learn something in the process.
Tell me more.
Unlike some frivolous tasks you may be given at other guild halls, this is a serious matter and has consequences. Are you prepared?
I am.
Then allow me to explain the task. The Council of Mages has entrusted me with resolving a situation along the Gold Road. Several traveling merchants have been found dead along the Gold Road recently, with even more missing. The Council has asked that I put a stop to it. You are going to help me do so.
Go on.
We believe the killings are the actions of a rogue mage. Battle mages have been sent to the Brina Cross Inn, the only common link between the victims. You are to travel north to the Brina Cross Inn and speak with Ariel Gerard. She will give you further instructions.
All right, tell me more about the Arcane University.
Archmage Traven has closed the doors of the university to all who are not qualified to enter. A wise decision, in my opinion. It's in the Imperial City. Perhaps someday you may be able to visit him there. He's done wonderful things for this guild.
And the guild itself.
Archmage Traven was right to ban necromancy and place restrictions on the addition of new members to the guild. He's served us well.
What can you tell me about merchants in the area?
It's a sad thing to think that a mage would kill helpless merchants for the wares they carry.
And the rogue mage themselves.
Some mages do not abide by the principles of the guild and operate outside its boundaries. Many hold little value for the lives of others. The frost burns found on the victims in this case indicate a mage was responsible for their deaths. Likely nothing more than simple robbery. These scrolls should provide sufficient resistance to frost magic when and if you do encounter this rogue mage. Use them wisely.
And what else about the Brina Cross Inn?
The inn lies north of Anvil. Speak with Ariel Jurard when you arrive. She will give you further instructions. Do not let your guard down. We do not know whether the inn staff is involved somehow.
Anything else you can tell me about the mage?
The scrolls I have given you should protect you from the magic the mage seems to use most frequently. But do not let your guard down. He may have more tricks up his sleeve.
How do you know it's a he? Alright, any other rumors?
Necromancy may be legal in Cyrodiil, but few will openly admit to practicing it now that the Mages Guild has banned it. Good that you want to get better. Goodbye.
Alright, let's see if I can get a better mortar and pestle at this point.
Mark Gullet, Mages Guild Evoker, Advanced Instructor in the Arts of Destruction. Always keep your magical equipment charged. Good that you want to get better. Only quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in? You don't expect me to make... Oh, you need to make a bet. Tell your friends about me. If you want to learn more about training destruction magic, you'll have to find Brolsa Andara. Goodbye.
All right.
I greet you, Thorin, journeyman of the Mages Guild.
What do you know about Daedra Shrines?
There's a Malakath shrine west of Fort Such, west of the Gold Road to Hammerfell. But I stay away. I like my skin on the outside, in one piece.
Fair point.
What can I interest you in? I can't do that.
Drat.
For you, of course. May I Thank you. Come again. Take care. I'm Felin Relis of the Mages Guild. I handle alchemy training for the Anvil chapter.
Good to meet you. Let's talk business.
What can I interest you in?
Ah! Alright, well, maybe I can sell you some stuff at least. Not even that, really. Alright. We're done.
Good day.
So before I go too much further out, let's take a minute here. Sorry, before I do that, I'll just see if I can get
A pleasure to speak with you.
Are you sure?
Go hurt someone.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Bye.
Vigdis, Fighters Guild.
I just want to see if
Farewell.
anybody will actually give me a job here.
Lency Laura. Good day.
I'm Azan, head of the Anvil Fighters Guild chapter, and advanced blunt weapons trainer.
What kind of contract can you give me?
A contract for you? I think I've got something that suits your experience. Arvina Phyllis has some problem with rats in her house.
What are you implying?
Take care.
You've got the hands of a smith.
How about mixing up some potions?
Wait a minute.
Oh, hello.
Try not to sound too happy to see me.
A pleasure to see you.
Good day. A contract for you? I think I've got something that suits your experience. Arvina Phyllis has some problem with rats in her house. Yes, rats. I'm sure she can explain it to you better than I. She lives here in Anvil. Go and talk to her. Good luck. Go take care of the rats.
Hello.
I was wanting to focus mostly on things outside of Anvil. But let's start with the rats.
Welcome to Anvil. If you need a guard, just look around. That's why things are so peaceful here. Just look around. And there's a town guard. Prevents all sorts of misunderstandings.
Alright, I got a few questions then. What about the attack?
By the time we got there, it was too late. We have no idea how they got in or out without any of our patrols seeing them.
Tell me more about Anvil.
We'll be ready if the Daedra decide to attack. Don't worry.
Apparently I can't talk to you about that new thing, so what else have you heard?
Hey, you're the one they call the Hero of Kvatch, aren't you? The one that closed the Oblivion Gate and saved the city.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
There's a charge in the air. Been casting some destruction spells? Didier O'Malley, a ship's clerk. At present, I'm spending my time and gold on the pleasures of the Gold Coast.
Hear any rumors then?
I swear that when I passed by Benorus Manor last night, I heard someone scream from inside. Velwyn Benorus will never sell that death trap. You too.
How would you like to get my husband Gogan out of hot water?
I'd love to. What's he done?
Believe me, he'll need all the help he can get to worm his way out of this one. To think he'd fall for the gang's scheme. Oh, I could kill him. I'm sorry. I'm rambling, and you look confused. Let me explain.
Go on.
The women in the gang use their wiles to lure men out to some remote location and rob them blind. It's been going on for some time now. The city guard hasn't done very much about it, because frankly, the men who are robbed are so embarrassed they don't want to report it. Take, for example, that good-for-nothing husband of mine, Gogan. He cared more about their charms than my own.
Tell me more about the gang.
When Gogan was, with the women, they took something quite valuable from him.
His virginity?
No, it's not what you're thinking. He was carrying a precious family heirloom with him when he was lured out to their lair. It was a small ring given to him on our wedding day. The ring belonged to my mother and has been in the family for generations. I'm willing to give you all the money I have to get it back. 100 gold. Can you help us?
Sure, why not?
Thank you. I'm afraid I can't offer you much help, but I'll do what I can.
Anything else you can say about the gang?
All I can tell you is that the best place to start is at the Flowing Bowl. It's a tavern located outside the city walls near the waterfront. Gogan may be able to give you more information beyond that.
Any other rumors?
Something about Arvina Thelis is a bit odd. I've heard she keeps strange things in her basement. The Flowing Bowl attracts the worst Anvil has to offer. Always be on your guard.
Ah, you must be from the Fighters Guild. Good, I have a problem. It has to do with the rats in my basement.
Go on.
That's right. Rats in my basement. And something has been killing them. It's horrible. My poor babies. You must do something. What I do without them. Their little pink noses. Scaly little tails. Please get to the basement and find out what's happening.
Arvina Thelis has rats in her basement, but they're not the problem. She loves the rats. She's been finding them dead. She would like me to go down and investigate what's been happening.
Please save my little rats.
I've killed the mountain lion in Arvina Thelis' basement. It must be sneaking through a hole in the wall somewhere. I should tell Arvina about what's happened.
Yep, that'll do it all right.
Well, what have you found? Did you take care of my babies? What was going on down there?
It was a mountain lion.
A mountain lion? In my basement? But how? That's not possible. But it happened. What if there are more? What if it wasn't alone? Where there's one, there will be more. Find Pinarus and Ventius. He's a hunter and knows this area inside and out. He'll know what to do.
Just board it up.
Please, go find Pinarus and those mountain lions.
What can I do for you?
Do you sleep in that?
A pleasure to speak with you.
What do you know about mountain lions?
Mountain lions? Here? Odd. If they're around, I can find them. Come with me. A hunt will do us good, and maybe make that old nut feel better. Let's go hunting.
Sorry, no time to talk. I have to deliver these copies of the Black Horse Courier. Here, take a copy. It's free.
If they're out here, they'll be
I
in
already
this
see
area.
one.
I can't imagine there are more than 4 of them. Let's take care of this.
You know what? I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of potions right now and see if that fixes anything. Ah. No. Okay, garlic is a high priority now. At the start.
I think that'll be all of them. Can't imagine more in this area. You can go tell Arvena this is all taken care of. Good hunting.
So apparently there was a mountain lion somewhere around here that he was attacking. There we go. So I wanted to try and get a little bit of stuff, or a little bit of work done inside the town before I went out on more of the quests. We'll see whether or not that holds up.
You've got to take care of those mountain lions.
Already done.
You think you've gotten rid of them all? You do? Well, you haven't. There's one in my basement right now. Go get it.
Oh, fine.
I've killed the second mountain lion in Arvina Thelis' basement. I should tell Arvina.
Like the gods, you killed that thing. This is ridiculous. Someone's out to get me, to get my poor babies. I'll bet it's that quill weave next door.
Why do you suspect them?
She's the one. She's never liked me or my sweet little pets. I know it's her. I've even seen her sneaking around in back of my house at night. She thinks she's so smart. She and all the other women. I'll show her. I want you to keep an eye on her. Find out what she's up to. Please save my little rats.
Arvina now believes that her neighbor, Quillweave, might be responsible. Arvina has seen her sneaking around the outside of the house at night. I should watch Quillweave and see what she's doing. I should not let Quillweave see me, though, lest she get suspicious.
Hi there. I'm Newheim, Anvil Harbor Master. I'm responsible for all harbor traffic, docks, duties, and fees in Anvil Harbor.
Pleased to meet you.
Bye.
How about mixing up some potions? You look like quite the alchemist.
Well, I've already blown my cover. Subtle. Don't. This isn't exactly exactly my finest moment of excuse me. This isn't exactly my finest moment of tradecraft. get that guy one day. Overcompensated on that one. So, I think we're just doing this stakeout all day. Really inconspicuous, as you can see. That's a new location, though. Oh. Let me guess, she just pulls a mountain lion out of her pocket. Okay, that is a hilarious how to make.
I've seen Quillweave leaving meat outside Arvina Thelis' house. This must be what's attracting the mountain lions into town and into Arvina's basement. I should confront Quillweave.
Wow.
Yes. What can I do for you?
I saw you outside of Arvina's house.
You what? Well, I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. I would never go skulking about. Fine, you've got me. I figured if I left some rotten meat outside, the nasty little things would come out, and the guards would take care of them.
Well, did you think of any other possibilities?
Mountain lions? In her basement? I just wanted to lure her vermin outside. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, except the rats. Please, don't tell her. And if you can keep this our little secret, I can make it worth your while. There's a bit about acrobatics I can teach you. Give it some thought.
Wait, is that innuendo or is that an actual offer to...
Knowledge is power. Farewell.
So, did you follow her? She's behind it, isn't she? Tell me what you found out.
Chloe was behind it.
I knew it. That Swit. Oh, I'll get her. You just wait. Must have taken some fast talking to get her to confess. Maybe I can teach you a little bit more about how to talk to people.
Yeah, you're really...
And of course, here's the payment for the contract. Thank you.
I was gonna say, you really seem to be a Dale Carnegie type.
Rats are so cute.
Alright, let's see if we can grab ourselves an extra point in, or an extra contract that paid amazingly well.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
It's my pleasure. Please continue.
How about another contract?
Looking for more work, eh? Good. Got a contract for you. I'd like you to go talk to Norbert Lels here in Anvil.
What does he want?
He runs Lels Quality Merchandise here in Anvil. He's been having problems with break-ins, though, and he's hired us to put a stop to it. Take care of Lels. He needs the help.
Alright, so we'll see if we can talk to Lels. I'm guessing no. But it doesn't hurt to take a look.
You've got the hands of a smith.
Wrong one.
Welcome to the Flowing Bowl. I'm Mainlawn. My twin's name is Cainlawn. How to tell us apart? I'm in brown, he's in blue. Simple, really.
Where's Norbert Lels?
He runs Lel's Quality Merchandise. Ha! Not a bad sort. You can usually find him in his store.
Thank you.
You too.
Yep. Alright. Let's take a look at some other possibilities.
Can you spare a coin?
Actually, while I'm at it, yeah, so no fence in Anvil, sadly.
What do you want?
Tell me about the gang.
See, my wife couldn't keep a big mouth shut. Yes, it's true. I lost the family ring to those sirens. I'm ashamed about the whole incident, but not ashamed enough to ask for your help. I was sitting in the Flowing Bowl when the most fetching Nordwoman you've ever seen walked in with an equally attractive Imperial woman following. After we exchanged words, I followed them out to a farmhouse. Inside, they asked me to remove my clothes and items. Well, I did. And then suddenly they brandished weapons and robbed me. They sent me away with barely a stitch of clothing, harlots. Just please, help me get that ring back. I want to save what's left of my marriage.
After speaking with Gogan, I've learned that there are at least 2 gang members, an Imperial and a Nord. They lure men to a remote location, trick them into removing their clothes and equipment, and then ambush them while they are defenseless. I think at this point I have enough information to pay a visit to the Flowing Bowl.
I'm merely a man. How could I resist? What a mess I've got myself
It's you. Hi.
So many people are so happy to see me.
Welcome to the Flowing Bowl. I'm Cainlawn, the one in blue. My twin, Mainlawn, is the brown one.
Interesting definition of
Hi,
blue
you two.
you have there.
They call me Hall's Ropes Faster. Don't care. They can't pronounce my Black Marsh name anyway.
Greetings.
I haven't seen you here before. Aw, and you're all alone, too. How sad. Well, if you're up to it, I think we can solve that little problem. You see, me and Faustina here are lonely, too. And we've been looking for someone. You look like just what we need. I'll tell you what. We have a cozy farmhouse not far from here where we could, well, get to know each other much, much better. I'll mark it down on your map just so you won't forget where to find us. Meet us there around 11 o'clock. I can promise you a night of fun you won't soon forget.
One question. You said the 2 of you are alone, but you have each other. What happened to the bonds of friendship? Tell me more about this night of fun.
Do I really have to spell it out for you? You're a man, and I'm a woman with a certain desire. You figure out the rest.
You want to play Monopoly?
Hello.
How are you?
The Great
Been
Forest
better.
was cleared
How
for
about you?
agriculture around Lake
Fine.
Ramar. But it's mostly
Everybody's
wilderness
talking
outside.
Well,
Alright, so I think this other, oh, it's a different gang. Alright, well, I have an hour. Oh, but it's pretty far away.
Good to see you.
I would have gone to Fort Strand at this point, but again, if we're already halfway to 11, I'm definitely going to be rushing to make it to the farm.
I've arrived at Quaden. I should enter the main farmhouse and find out what Faustina and Signy have in store for me.
This
I
isn't
see
a
you
farm.
took us up on our offer. Good. I'm glad to see you. Signy will be along shortly. I'm sure we can find something to do while we wait. Now, we can't have you standing there all uncomfortable in all those clothes. Why don't you take everything off and place it there on the table?
I am afraid not.
What? What are you talking about? Don't you want to have fun? Come on, don't be shy. Or are you here for something else?
I am here for Gogan's ring.
Damn, I knew it. You're working for the city guard, aren't you? I didn't think they would be stupid enough to send someone alone. But so be it. I should have known after I fenced that stupid ring and discovered it was a fake. Worthless. All part of the guard's plan, I suppose. Okay, girls. We got someone who doesn't want to cooperate. Show me what you got. That's the best you can do.
After entering the farmhouse, I encountered Faustina, who tried to entice me to remove my weapons, armor, and clothing and place them aside. Knowing that this was a ruse, I refused. She yelled out for the rest of the gang and entered... She yelled out and the rest of the gang entered the room, fully armed and ready for battle. I had no choice but to kill them.
We had a feeling you'd be surprised when you saw us in our real uniforms. I see you have a puzzled look on your face. Ask away.
Tell me more.
Gogan and I are really members of the Anvil City Watch. I suppose you could say we work undercover. We've been trying to foil Faustina's gang for months now. Every time we tried to interview a man who was lured there, they refused to talk. The women in the gang picked married men to seduce for just that reason. It was decided the only way to stop this gang was to send in a stranger. You fit the bill perfectly. It's a shame it had to end in so much violence, but someone was bound to get hurt sooner or later.
What about Festina?
We'll clean up the mess. Don't concern yourself about it. I'm sure you had no choice. If you ever find yourself back in Anvil, stop by any time and say hello. Oh, and please say nothing to anyone about our true identities. You've done well, and here's the reward that I promised. Don't spend all the money from the reward in one place. Good to see you.
Good news from Kvatch for a change. The last of the Deirdre have been driven out.
Excellent. That is good. Have you heard any word about the other provinces?
Yeah, that's worth it.
Nothing of it.
Good night.
You too. What's your story?
Good news from Kvatch for a change. The last of the Deirdre have been driven out.
Excellent.
I know I don't exactly need these lockpicks anymore, but they make me feel good.
Can't wait to see you tonight. My every day is spent thinking about when we will next be together. Soon we'll be married and we can be together forever. Your true love.
Got a lot to do here. We can talk later and
Sorry, I just got a message from someone that I wanted to hear from today, so I just gotta see what's up. Sorry about that. So I mean, really, at this point, if I'm struggling for weight, I should probably head back to Anvil and sell everything off.
Ow!
It is really neat to see the cities in the background like this. Even if they do suddenly sprout cathedrals out of nowhere.
You look like a wreck.
Thanks. So I'm gonna stop by the chapel. It's not even to see the prophet, although that'd be great if I could. It's just so that I can, if I have that trained intelligence, I want to make sure I'm cured of that. Oof. So, temple's not working then, huh? This always weirds me out, because I'll try and explain the parts. So I thought, like, this was a hand and this was a person, but looks like it's a mermaid, or some variation on it.
Good evening.
My bad, sorry. Yeah, 9:30 is not bad.
It's you. Hi.
So it also occurred to me there was the business about the haunted house.
A coin for an old beggar?
not surprised. It seems that Skyrim is always involved in a border dispute. Good day. What's your story? Read any cruise lately? I picked up Frontier Conquest. Haven't read much, though.
Didn't I get a key for that?
Flowing Bowl is a great place to eat. For this week only, we are putting twice as many leeks into our soup as normal. Why not stop in for a bowl? Bring a friend.
I'm really looking for garlic here.
Elisa Otis' Guide to Anvil. Now, it's possible I've read this before, but I don't remember it, so it would actually be a good time to get reacquainted. Sweet Debella, Lady of Love, bless us and our children. My name is Alicia Otis, and I'd like to tell you about Anvil. The seat of Anvil County is by the sea, and at first glance is very pretty, but when you examine it closely, turns out to be quite unpleasant. The water views are charming, but on the docks and in the harbor district outside of the town you will find many sailors and tramps and dirty persons of little worth. Castle Anvil is clean and well ordered, and within the town walls some houses are bright and cheerful, but others are derelict and abandoned, or shabby and neglected, with plaster fallen in patches from the stonework, and lunatics and drunkards may be encountered everywhere. Castle Anvil. The ruler of Anvil is Countess Milona Umbranox. Her husband, Corvus Umbranox, disappeared many years ago, and most persons would agree that her ladyship is better off without him, for he was a light and frivolous person, and given to loose and riotous behavior likely to promote scandal. The Countess herself is a righteous and godly woman, and an excellent ruler, well loved by the people. If only she could compel her town guard to drive the seamen, lowlifes, loafers, and thieves from Anvil's streets, Anvil might be a more tolerable place to live. Districts of Anvil. Consider the 5 districts of Anvil. Anvil lies outside the town walls, south of the town, overlooking the harbor, and is reached by gate from Chapelgate. Within the town walls are 3 districts: Chapelgate in the east, Westgate in the west, and Guildgate between Chapelgate and Westgate. Harborside lies outside the town walls, south of the town, and is reached by a gate from the Westgate district. Chapelgate. A more beautiful chapel may not be seen in all Cyrodiil. A quiet garden for meditation, with a fine statue of Debella, lies between the chapel and the town wall, and across from the chapel is a lovely garden with covered arcade where worshippers are protected from the elements. Regrettably, the people of Anvil seem little inclined to appreciate these advantages and are seldom seen worshipping in the chapel. Whether this is the fault of the primate, who is a vain and shallow woman, or the countess, who does little to encourage regular chapel worship by her example, I am unable to judge. Guildgate. The most prosperous part of Anvil is entered by Guildgate, or Main Gate, or North Gate. Here, side by side Here, side by side, may be seen the handsomest and ugliest of Anvil buildings. The guilds are kept clean and in good repair, and both Mages Guild and Fighters Guild are unusually ambitious and industrious by Cyrodiil's common standard. The head of the Mages Guild, Carahil, is a scholar of good reputation and an outspoken enemy of necromancy, summoning, and the dark arts. The Fighters Guild here is well-staffed and active, and shows no sign of the fecklessness and poor morale of chapters elsewhere in Cyrodiil. However, next to the Mages Guild is a ruin long boarded up and abandoned and a prominent eyesore. Westgate. This is the residential district of Anvil. The houses here are shabby and ill-kept. The people are untidy and dull, with the exception of Anvil's famous citizen, the Argonian authoress Quillweave, who produces wretched books celebrating the misadventures and schemes of the lower and criminal classes. This person does her race no favor by confirming the prejudices of many who consider Argonians to be ungodly, dishonest, and worthless, and little better than beasts. Harborside. The docks are rotten and in ill repair, and all manner of smells issue forth from the holds of ships and ramshackle warehouses. Shiftless persons gather here to bask in the sun, gossip, chatter, and plot how to beg and steal gold for wine and ale. Here a good woman named Mirabelle Monet runs a house for homeless sailors, but, I'm sorry to say, her mistaken tender-heartedness and charity only encourages malingering and drunkenness. Instead, she should urge these wicked and idle men to improve themselves through industry and the teachings of the Nine. There is, however, a very appealing lighthouse south of the harbor, from which one may contemplate a distant and less disagreeable view of Anvil's castle, town, and its harbor setting. May the Nine guard and guide you.
I'm listening.
Hello. I've heard
You
that
look like the
Baron
right one.
Raylis knows quite a bit about alchemy. Hello. Might be nice to learn how to make better potions. Goodbye. I'm Krognak Grobrock, landsman, and I don't much care who you are.
It's popular, this place.
You too. Hello. They say that Oblivion gates have opened outside cities all across.
It's 11 o'clock. How late does this get? Oh, that's nice.
Astia Inventius, wife of the woodsman Pinarus Inventius. Always out hunting. Anything to avoid doing a little work around the house.
Know anything about the prophet?
He's a blessing on this town. The only one to have made any sense out of the terrible tragedy at the chapel. He preaches every day outside the chapel. Go and listen, you'll see. Goodbye.
I had a fairly decent run without crashes. I'm rather enjoying Anvil. There's actually quite a bit to do here.
Its scent is unfamiliar. Hail!
Good to see you.
I overshot.
Good day. Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Tell you what, how about you look at mine?
A fine. and... I appreciate your business. You too.
Can you spare a coin?
The gate, once open, cares not who passeth through. Our ancient enemy has returned from the deeps of time to exact his revenge upon the gods. The gods, the 8 attendants of St. Pelinal, when he smote down Umaril the Unfeathered. Umaril! Ah, yes, your children know that name if you do not. A dread castellan of fearful legend. Did you think him a myth? Or dead? Have you not heard the Adabala? Spake Pelinal, beware Moray House. Beware! With the foresight of death, I know now that my foe yet lives. Oh, bitter knowledge.
The children are starving.
To take to my grave.
Please help.
Better that I had died, believing myself the victor. Although cast beyond the doors of night, he will return. Be vigilant. I can no longer shield the host of men from Umaril's retribution. Thus spake Pelinal in the hour of his death. Will no one take up this holy crusade? Will no one walk the ancient pilgrim's way? Is there no one who would stand for the 9? Oh, unhappy Tamriel! Where is your divine crusader in these latter days of petty strife and lesser men? Hear me, O people of Cyrodiil! The blood tide rises. The gate, once open, cares not who passeth through. Our ancient enemy has returned from the deeps of time to exact his revenge upon the gods. The gods, the 8 attendants of St. Pelinal, when he smote down Umaril the Unfeathered. Umaril! Ah, yes, your children know that name if you do not. A dread castellan of fearful legend. Did you think him a myth? Or dead? Have you not heard the Adabala? Spake Pelinal, beware Moray House. Beware! With the foresight of death, I know now that my foe yet lives. Oh, bitter knowledge to take to my grave. Better that I had died, believing myself the victor. Although cast beyond the doors of night, he will return. Be vigilant. I can no longer shield the host of men from Umaril's retribution. Thus spake Pelinal in the hour of his death. The 8 and 1 require a champion, a divine crusader reborn. I am Cyrodiil come, he said, old Riemann, born from the earth that is Alesh. And yet he would scorn this country now. Repent, I say. Repent! Will no one take up this holy crusade? Will no one walk the ancient pilgrim's way? Hear me, O people of Cyrodiil. Who will walk the pilgrim's way, as did the questing knights of old? Who will match the deeds of Saramiel and his companions when they smote the worm of Elendil to recover the cuirass of the Crusader? Cut 8-wise he was, Pelinal the Blamer, champion of men, and though dispersed, he left us a warning. Heed it! Pelennor Whitestrake once struck down the enemies of man and God. Who will now reclaim his relics and fight again for the true faith? The blood of the Bella's slaughtered acolytes cries out for vengeance! Vengeance! Who will take up this holy crusade? I am Cyrodiil Come, he said, old Riemann, born from the earth that is Alesh, and yet he would scorn this country now. Repent, I say, repent! Will no one take up this holy... Oh my! To what do I owe this honor? I am but a humble prophet. What business do you have with me?
I know I let some of that repeat. I was just a little curious. And sorry, I am experiencing another delay here. I just need to, try something. Cool. What can you tell me about the attack?
This is only the beginning. Umaril has returned, as foretold by Pelennor Whitestrake in his dying breath.
Well, I already know who Umaril is, but go ahead, tell me.
Umaril the Unfeathered, a sorcerer king of the Aliens, who ruled over this land for long ages before the rise of men. He was cast down by Pelennor Whitestrake, but Umaril's spirit survived, and now he has returned to seek vengeance upon the gods.
And Pelennor.
Does no one remember the old tales? Saint Pelennor, the divine crusader of legend, Alicia's companion when she overthrew the rule of the aliens 3,000 years ago. Pelennor, with the aid of the gods, fought the alien sorcerer King Umaril and slew him. But Umaril's spirit survived, and he has now returned.
All right, just tell me you attacked the chapel.
Do you understand nothing? The blood speaks. I can read the ancient runes if you cannot. As uibala, umarale el nada rakuva. In the alien tongue, by the eternal power of Umaril, the mortal gods shall be cast down. A curse upon Umaril's ancient foes, and a threat.
How do we stop Umaril?
Alas, Umaril cannot be stopped. Not without the aid of the gods, not without the Crusaders' relics. Without a champion, the gods are powerless to act. But who among us is worthy to wield the divine Crusaders' weaponry?
I will quest for the relics.
You would quest for the holy panoply of Pelennor Whitestrake? The legendary relics that have been sought by mighty warriors throughout the ages? Are you a worthy knight?
I am the hero of Kvatch.
Well then, hail, hero of Kvatch! Let me add one more voice to the never-ending chorus of praise. I'm sure one of your many devotees will be able to guide you on your way to find the Crusaders' relics.
Tell me more about the relics.
the weapons and armor of Pelinal Whitestrip, Alicia's comrade, granted to him by the 8 divines. He went alone into the White Gold Tower, challenged the alien sorcerer King Umaril to single combat, and slew him. Alas, Umaril was not truly slain, but only cast beyond the bounds of Nirn. And now he has returned to wreak his vengeance upon the gods, as was prophesied by Pelinal himself with his dying breath. Only a true knight, wielding the holy relics of the Divine Crusader, has a chance to defeat Umaril. But alas for Tamriel, the Crusader's relics have been lost for many an age. Who now can succeed in the quest for the relics, where the greatest knights of legend all failed?
Tell me more about the quest for the relics, then.
Are you a worthy knight?
I thought we already went over this. I am a worthy knight.
And I'm sure you will have no trouble finding the relics on your own. You clearly need no aid from man or god. Why do you come to me for aid, worthy knight? Are you?
I am but a worm. Please help me, O prophet.
Let the gods be the judge of that. I cannot see into men's hearts. I see only their words and deeds.
How can I find the relics?
The gods grant insight to those they deem worthy. Why and how they act is not predictable. What I can tell you is that, traditionally, knights who wished to quest for the relics would walk the Pilgrim's Way, travel to the way shrines of the 9 divines, pray to each of the gods in turn, and ask their favor upon your quest. If the gods deem you worthy, you will be granted a sign. Go forth with the 9's blessings.
All right, tell me about the 8 and 1.
Once there were 8 divines. Then Tiber Septim became Talos, and the 8 became 9. I followed the old way of honoring the 8 while also giving due to Talos, the one who ascended.
Tell me more about Umaril.
He was defeated, but not destroyed by Pelinal the Crusader. Now he has returned to seek vengeance against the gods. Only a true knight, wielding the holy relics of the Divine Crusader, has a chance to defeat Umaril.
And tell me about the pilgrimage.
For those who would repent their past deeds, walking the Pilgrim's Way is a traditional way to cleanse yourself before the gods. Follow the map I gave you. Visit the way shrines of the 9. Pray and wait for a sign. May the 8 and 1 guide your steps.
Have pity, sir. I got nothing to do.
Good afternoon.
All right, let's see if the considerably easier task is now available to me.
May the wind be on your back.
I understand Carahan knows more about illusion than any other mage in Anvil. You've got the hands of a smith.
Welcome. Greetings. Welcome to Lel's Quality Merchandise. We have a wide range of goods to suit your needs. Oh, and perhaps you saw the sign outside? A slight mistake, you know. Bit of bad luck there. So, what can I do for you?
Tell me about yourself.
I am Norbert Lels. How may I help you?
Well, then tell me about the break-ins.
I've lost a great deal of merchandise over the last few months. I keep replacing it, but they keep stealing it. New locks on the doors be damned.
Yeah, about that. Sorry.
They always come at night after I've gone to bed. Maybe a mage transports them inside. You can just stay in the shop overnight. Good luck. I'm going to wait at the flowing bowl until this mess is settled. I know I can trust you to keep the place safe.
Anything else?
As I said, I'll need you to stop these thieves from breaking into my store. It only seems to happen at night. Goodbye. What can I do for you? You too.
Alright, so I have some time at least. Let's try. I think I'll try Fort Strand first, actually.
Good afternoon.
So here I wanted to try and clear out at least a little bit of inventory space because I'm going to be bringing in the mace heirloom. So obviously I'd love to take all of this, but
Who's there? Where are you?
So I'll head in there a little bit later.
What's that?
I'm not quite ready to go into new map yet. Just want to double check that's a dead end, which it is. Sure doesn't look wooden. Be able to get rid of a hammer too for the repairs. I always thought you could only catch brain rot from Twitter, but I'll head down below on my way back, assuming that I don't already head down there through this tunnel. I realize that there is a great love for Daggerfall's ambition, but I will confess having dungeons like this, or, environments like this, that have something of a logic in terms of their layout is considerable improvement in my opinion. Like, I'm not upset being made to go through these. Again, it's a shame I have to leave so much of this behind, but until I come up with a better inventory management system, I'm carrying quite a bit as far as reagents and resellables are concerned. So it doesn't look like there's anything new for me to see in that. Okay, so there was this part which went lower. That seems to be just so I could have gone back up, and I'm guessing down here. Yep, there's the guy that I took out. Alright. So all that remains is the Great Dome. They've obviously gotten turned around. There we go.
Who's that? Die! Here!
I'll hack you. Now you. Will no pain.
This is the part where you
I'll hack you to pieces. Do your work. What's the matter? Getting tired?
See, this would normally be something I'd be really happy to put on. Just it's all heavy.
Nothing to worry about, I guess. Just my eyes playing tricks on me.
Yes.
Why won't you die?
Oh wow, this guy hits like a truck.
be impressed.
I found Bjelfi the Contemptible inside Fort Strand. With Rock Shatterer still in his possession, I should take the weapon back to Maeva and tell her of her late husband's fate.
There's no way I'm going to be able to carry that. I would have thought if I triggered the trap, I'd already have been here, but apparently not. Really, I can't jump off of that. That's annoying. So the likelihood of me actually being able to take any of the stuff that I find in here is pretty remote. But I might as well check the last couple of chambers. So yeah, that paid off quite well. Hoping she doesn't give us the heirloom as a reward. So that way we've freed up a little bit of space in the inventory automatically. Ooh. I'm hoping the thieves have a generous sense of time. Hey, leave my steed alone.
How goes it? No time to talk. Go away. No time to talk. Go away.
No time to talk. Go away.
I'm Mirabelle Monet. I run the Forecastle, a boarding house for sailors. Sorry, I reserve my beds for seamen. I swear that when I passed by Benares Manor last night, I heard someone scream from inside. Velwyn Benares will never sell that death trap.
So, yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world if I have to... If I lose that time, it's just... I'd kind of like to know what the deal is as far as this quest goes. This should be before I tried anything.
Sorry. I've spoken to Norbert Lels, who says that he has had some break-ins at his store almost nightly. He would like someone to stay in the store tonight and catch the crooks in the act.
Now, it's possible that because it's 10 o'clock, it's already too late. But... I don't know, maybe just walking around.
Black Horse Courier. Quillweave plans new Doomstone cycle. Doomstones not magical, says noted Argonian writer. The author of The Goblin with the Golden Arm and Red Crater plans a new series of historical works set in the early days of the Reman Emperors. These stories will center around the sorcerers and battle mages that play such a prominent part in the legends of the Reman Emperor's rapid rise to power in the closing years of the Second Era. She plans to call the series The Paths of the Doomstones. The Argonian authoress declined to reveal any details of the characters and themes of these books. However, Quillweave clearly has quite ambitious plans for this series, since she plans titles to correspond with each of Cyrodiil's 21 Doomstones. These ancient monuments are scattered throughout Cyrodiil, and each is known in legend by its own name. I always carefully research my subject, Quillweave says. I find no evidence at all to support the popular notion that these rune stones were once artifacts of great magical power. She noted that 13 of these stones are associated with common birth signs by which people have always marked the aspects of the heavens when children are born. Such stones as the Mage Stone and the Serpent Stone were certainly associated with primitive sky worships of the beast folk of the mythic era. Other stones, like the Aetherius Stone and the Magnus Stone, were also doubtlessly associated with other long-forgotten cults. The courier asked Quillweave why she might choose to abandon the popular tales of thieves, outlaws, murderers, and lowlifes that have made her so famous in Cyrodiil and throughout the Empire. She explained that she has long sought material with more mature and epic themes to celebrate the noble virtues of Cyrodiil and the Empire. She assured the courier that she will fill the Doomstone series with the lusty and colorful characters we've come to know and love, But this time, Quillweave says, my characters will uproot trees, devastate cities, and summon rains of boiling blood before slipping away to explore the private and intimate mysteries of the heart.
I'm not quite sure how long I want to wait. No. Oh, come on!
Get away with this. Let's get this over with.
It is slightly hilarious to see the burglars accusing me of stealing their stuff first, though. What did I even take?
Do your worst.
Oh!
Yeah. You're a traitor to your own.
Taking care of the crooks breaking into Norbert Lella's store. I should speak with the shopkeeper himself.
Might have been a goblet that I stole, which is really inconvenient because I won't know which one is which. Oh, no, it's the inkwell. But yeah, so the intention was to stand up, not to steal something. Doesn't seem like there's a bounce. Well, my infamy's 8 though.
Well, were you able to take care of my problem with break-ins? You've gotten them? Wonderful. But their names are familiar to me. All of those men have worked for me. Amazing. I even trusted them to open up the shop in the mornings. I can't imagine what turned them to a life of crime. Sad. Well, here's your payment. Come back anytime.
How are you today?
So it looks like they're not going to have any problems with the witnessed thievery.
Hi there.
Hail!
Good day. Go to it.
Hi there.
Evening.
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep. It's how they
I
recruit
heard you
members.
know how to move and...
Oh, hello.
All right. There's a bit of wrapping up to do, and then we can start heading on some of the other.
Greetings.
Hi there.
I hope I can help. You've got duties to attend to. First, though, you're ready for advancement.
Tell me about advancement, then.
Looks like it's time for a promotion. Due to your performance, I name you Journeyman of the Fighters Guild.
Any more?
I'm sorry. You're not yet ready for a promotion. Keep completing contracts and take care of any assigned duties. Sounds like everything is taken care of there. Good work.
Your contract?
You're needed in Coral. Report to Velena Dantan. She's got some duties for you to take care of. I'm
How about
sorry.
now? All right.
Be seeing you.
So I'll turn in the heirloom and I'll try to, I'll clear what I can, and then I'll pick up whatever armor I can off of the people who did the break-in.
That good-for-nothing husband's gonna be very surprised if he crawls back here. Very surprised. Found rock shatter yet by chance?
I have.
I'd already convinced myself I'd never see rock shatter again, but I was wrong. What's become of Yalfi?
Sorry, Maeva. He's dead.
He was a good man when I married him, but greed took a hold of his heart. While I'm not happy he's dead, I'm glad he's at peace. Well, I'm just glad that it's all over and rock shatter is back where it belongs, in my family. I feel I owe you something for your efforts. Yes. I feel it only appropriate that you have my dowry. I would consider it an honor. May the goddess watch you.
So we'll do the Mages Guild quest next, but I have a few other things to take care of first.
A pleasure to speak. Armor, weapons, I have it all. How may I help you? A fine transaction. Thank you. You too. I'm Felon. Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you. A fine transaction. That's a good deal. An excellent. Thank you for your business. Let's do
Do you
business.
sell reagents? Probably nothing that I really want. Let's see if there's any strength or speed, though. Now, I seem to remember Pear had a problem as well. Well, we'll buy it just in.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so pears and garlic are new priorities.
What's this about?
Oh wow. I don't have any space. I mean, at this point, I have to go to a fence. And actually, this seems as good of a place as any to, not quite sure what I thought. This is probably a good place to end it, so in the next episode I'll try and find a division between doing the Mages Guild mission as well as heading back to various locations just to sell or otherwise drop off artifacts. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.